What's up guys, it's your girl Just Sold Out back here today with another unboxing video. I know it's been a while since I've unboxed anything. I feel like I haven't made any sneaker purchases really since the global pandemic started. So excited to be back here today with a really special release. I feel like if you see the box you already know exactly what this is going to be. Excited to share that I was one of the few Nike members who received exclusive access to this release before it actually released to the public. I believe it was a few days before, early in the week. I think it was a Tuesday, and I just saw Twitter essentially blowing up and people were gaining access. So I checked my app and there it was. I put in my info. I actually had to reconfirm my accounts, and in the process I still was able to get the sneaker. I heard through the grapevine that only women were the first to receive this exclusive access pre-release, so really cool that I was able to purchase this. I made a bunch of purchases off the Nike app before, and I do feel that if you've spent maybe a certain amount or you are on the app frequently, I'm not entirely sure, we might never know, thanks Nike, that you got access to this sneaker because someone like my sister or someone that, just heard that this was releasing didn't receive the same access that I did, and essentially we both pulled up our apps and she didn't have an exclusive invite to purchase this and I did. Anyways, really excited that I received the sneaker and also didn't have to go through the motions of jumping through all these different hoops to try to get it. First off, we're going to start with the box. There are a good amount of holes all through it. It does feel very Swiss cheese-like. I always appreciate whenever a collaboration does something different with the box. Would have liked to have maybe seen something a little bit different in terms of this being one of the first, actually not one of the first off-white sneakers. This was actually the first off-white sneaker for women. It's the Vapor Street, has all the spikes on the bottom. It's sold, you could get them for retail. I think I even saw them here and there for sale price. So this was the first woman off-white Nike collaborative release. So to my knowledge, this is the second woman off-white Nike sneaker, and really excited that they chose a Jordan 4. I think what Jordan Brand has been doing with the woman collection specifically is really cool. I've seen really different, cool, stylish, I don't know, it's just like a different aesthetic to the Jordan woman pieces that have been releasing. So excited to see a Jordan 4 finally come through for women. I think it's really cool that Nike and Jordan Brand wanted to release this sneaker early access specifically to women. I think it kind of speaks to the level that Nike and Jordan Brand wanted to get this sneaker in the hands of the right consumer. And I mean, they have no control about the secondary market, so it was different. It was definitely a different release, and I totally respect and appreciate it. So instead of tissue paper, we see the transparent cover instead, and you can open it. It has the off-white branding. I do appreciate the different branding that the logo has on this transparent, cover, tissue paper, whatever we want to call it, just because it's a little different. And also I noticed that they use this off-white logo. It also goes seamlessly with the inside of the box, which is also red. So I don't know, this just feels like it was all well thought out, and definitely thought out in terms of wanting to unbox it and see it, in this form, in this way. So here we go. So beautiful. Honestly, when I opened this, I was like, oh my gosh. I think I just fell silent when I opened this. So here we have the sneaker. I'm holding the left shoe just so we can get, the first kind of look on this. First off, we'll get started with the zip tie. That was probably one of the first things that I noticed. Was at least I have the off-white Nike Presto, and I feel like the zip tie on that, let me check it out actually. So actually the zip tie has white text like almost all the other zip ties, but instead of it coming in the classic red color, it comes in this tan beige color, whatever. I guess we'll call it the sale colorway because that's what this is, what the sneaker's being called. So it's a little difficult to read what is actually printed on the zip tie, whereas I have the Nike Off-White Prestos, which the zip tie has white text against the red background, so it's very contrasting, easy to read, whereas this is almost, you can barely see it, barely even there. But if you think about this sneaker, if this had a red zip tie, it would be way too jarring. So I understand why they decided to go this colorway. I think it kind of makes it all put together in a more seamless form. So next to the zip tie, you have this Jordan keychain. It's also, you know, printed with the background of the sale color. I definitely am going to take this off. I mean, I have tried to walk around in Jordan 4s with the keychain on, just thinking that I wanted to wear the sneaker as it came, but it's pretty clunky and it feels kind of weird when you do walk in them, so I don't recommend that you keep it on, but to each their own. And then we'll go into the actual sneaker. So you could see in the very back behind the caging, you got the signature Off-White branding. You can see that there is this like overlay with the caging. I like that it's like this white kind of translucent, I would say, material that's over top. I'm sure that people are gonna go the extra mile and, you know, start cutting it up, but I like that, you know, this is a classic sneaker and it keeps its classic elements in its form, but that is definitely a nice touch. The same kind of translucent material is really used to keep the laces together. You can see, you know, on the toe box that there's a little bit of fringing that came, and I imagine it's going to continue to fringe even more as you wear and tear this sneaker. I think that's something that I really like about, you know, the Off-White Nike collection is the more you wear them, the shoe does kind of change a little bit in terms of this kind of distressing becomes even more distressed. And I feel like the sneaker just kind of changes as you wear them, which is super cool because honestly, you can't really say that about any of the other Nike sneakers. And that's what honestly makes the Off-White collection, you know, in terms of design, different, unique, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, you got this transparent material covering the front and the toe box. I feel like in terms of cleaning, this is going to be pretty easy, but then on the very top, where the toe box is, it's all this like premium leather. Like, I have to say, it's definitely premium leather. And I feel like what's been happening with the Jordan brand for women specifically is we are seeing that premium material being used on more and more sneakers that are releasing. So I feel like the quality is really up there for this. I also feel like, at least with my version of this sneaker, I can see kind of like the streakiness in the painting, which is also like a really fine detail that I appreciate. You also, of course, get to see a little bit of the bubble on both the inner and outer sides. You got caging, you know, on the toe box all the way behind the laces and all the way to the very top. They put the transparent material on top of the Jordan logo, which I honestly feels like frames this really well. And then of course you have on the inside of the tongue the Air Jordan logo, but it's flipped upside down. That's just a classic Off-White take on all the different Nike shoes that have kind of come out. One thing I will say about this sneaker is that when it came out, I was kind of like, could be great, could be But I think when you have it in hand and when you see it in person, I also feel like everyone collectively has been like, wow, the design, the quality, everything, it just seamlessly came together. And I think especially with the usage of all these kind of different materials, you know, you have this like translucent caging all around the sneaker on top of this kind of like what I like to call like very climate okay usage material, just because it's like that weatherproofing where you can just like wipe some liquid, something like my sweaty hands. I have hyperhidrosis. Just really, I like that because it doesn't collect dirt as easily, I would think. But we'll see as we wear and tear this shoe up. The sole was kind of one thing I was like, wow, I like want to take a look at the bottom of the shoe and definitely want to keep it as clean as possible. but the bottom has, you know, two different kind of tones of the sail colorway, and in addition it has this kind of like icy blue on the very front, as well as the Nike logo kind of in the middle. And I just think the bottom has a great like contrast of different colors, and it goes very seamlessly together, most likely because these tones are all very similar and they go together. I definitely think that this off-white collaboration is pretty hyped up, but I feel like it's hyped up for a good reason. If you took away all the off-white, you know, I would say the branding, would this sneaker hold up the same on the resale market? Would women be interested in this? Either way, I think using Off-White, Virgil, his brand, to get women involved with a very hyped sneaker and a classic silhouette, it's overall like just very well done. The rollout, the actual sneaker, everything. So shout out Jordan Brand. On the side, of course, you get the famous quotation marks with the air right above the air bubble. Actually, I feel like it kind of goes in very seamlessly. In addition, you can kind of see those paint marks again, which I feel like gives it just kind of like this raw element almost. And I don't know, I personally really appreciate it. I think it just goes really well against the leather. One thing that I found super interesting was the very front. You know, when you're wearing them, you get to see the contrasting colors, but when you look really closely at the details, they're all stars. That's just something different that I noticed about this sneaker. The back, the heel cup, also translucent material. I like that the heel tab is this translucent colorway, and you can also still see kind of like the framing or the back element because of the contrasting black in the back, but I do feel like this translucent overlay just kind of like brings the elements of what makes a classic Jordan 4 together with this lighter colorway for sure. Originally, when I first got my off-white Nike Prestos, I really didn't like that the cut was just so raw material based. I understand that that's a signature Virgil thing, but I like that on this it doesn't feel as I just chopped it up and, you know, stitched it together. It does feel like the cutting, I don't know, was more precise, but you can already kind of seeing as I'm like running my finger over the edges that it is already fraying a bit, which is going to be super cool as I wear and tear them more. It's going to change over time. So both sneakers already came with the sail color shoelaces already laced up perfect. The sneaker also came with a total of 3 other color shoelaces. I am definitely planning to swap at least one of them out, if not both. I think these two, the light blue and the white, might kind of go nice with a nice kind of contrast, but the black seems a little jarring to me. I don't think I'm gonna use these, at least not yet. Maybe once these are all too dirty, I'll swap it for this, but I'm glad they came with a darker color just because I know some people really like the contrast with laces and then the actual sneaker, so cool that you got options. Of course, each of the laces have the classic shoelaces in quotes at the very tip right before you tie them. It's just kind of like a quick review, quick overview. Very excited to wear these, very excited to put them on. I know that on the resale market they're going for around 1K, at least in my size. So I'm a woman 7. I would definitely stick true to size. I will say, I know it's pretty uniform that for a woman's shoe size to just bump it down 1.5 sizes, so I would ideally be a 5.5. I will say I do sometimes fit in a 6, like a 6 sometimes fits better. It just depends on the brand, whatever silhouette it is. But for these, I went true to size 7 woman, and that's what I recommend. Stay tuned for future videos and photos on Instagram. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!